Okay, inshallah, we'll get started. We don't want to keep you guys too long and too late. It is the end of the week. It's a Friday and everybody's tired at the end of the week as well. Usually in the past, we've had our orientation at the premises. It's just been easier now with COVID to be online. And, it's easier for everybody to see the slideshow and listen carefully when everybody's there at the premises. It's quite hard with children around and, sometimes the weather is not the best. So inshallah, this session will be beneficial for you all and you'll be able to understand our program, our timings, what our vision is, and we can answer any of your questions if you have any questions after we finish. So before we start, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Sadia Khan. I have 6 children. I started Dar al-Ihsan 10 years ago. Next year will be our 10th year with my sister Anisa, who you can probably see on the screen. She's wearing a face veil. She's waving. So we started 10 years ago. And the other person you see on the screen is our other sister, younger sister, Miss Nazia, who's been working with us from about the second year we opened. She's been in there, with the children in a management role, sometimes in a teaching role, sometimes in an aiding role, but she's there all the time, part-time with the children in both the streams. So inshallah, we'll get started. Anisa, did you want to say anything before I go on? I'll move to the next slide. So about us, who are we and how did we start and what is our vision?
Nice. Just a warm welcome to everybody that's joined tonight. As Sadia mentioned, we know how exhausting it is with families and work and whatnot. So inshallah, we won't take up too much of your time. And as she mentioned, it has been 10 years. We did expand. Some of you are aware that we do have a long day care centre also. So many of you who are repeat parents, like, oh, where's Anisa? Most of the time I'm at Grow With Me, which is a long day care centre. And so you'll see more often Sadia and Nazia. So inshallah, at Dar al-Ihsan, that is. So inshallah, we'll get started, Sadia, with the slides, inshallah. And we can leave questions to the end.
Okay, inshallah. So who are we? We are a family, as you can see, of sisters. How did we start? We started with a need for children to have a place to go where they could learn everything they needed to learn for kindergarten, but not just learning everything they needed for kindergarten, but for it to be hands-on, outdoor, in Islamic environment, somewhere where they could grow and develop in nature and also have Islam intertwined into all their learning. So everything we do at Dar al-Ihsan, it always has an Islamic aspect behind it, and we teach that to the children. So I actually, myself and Anisa, when we did start, I had my own children in there when they were young, so I couldn't find a center for my son where he could be learning the things that he needed to learn before he went off to school, where he could have Quran and Arabic and Islamic and be outdoors, and a place where he would be cared for and loved by the staff and the teachers, and want to go back to every day and every week. So our vision is also to instill the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala into the hearts of the children. And this is through teaching them the stories of the Prophet ﷺ, teaching them about our, our Islamic days like Eid, and we're going through Ramadan, and we do Hajj with the kids. We have Sunnah days. We have days where they exchange gifts with each other. So just instilling that love, because the practice of Islam, of doing the acts of worship, doesn't come about just by rote learning. Okay, you got to pray, you got to fast. They need to have the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their hearts. So that is our focus. And we also want to do all the learning that they can do through fun activities and outdoor activities. So if you've seen some of our posts previously on our social media pages, you'll see that they do, lots of hands-on activities, and they really enjoy coming to our center. So that's our vision. So I'll just move on to the next slide. So basically it says that in order to enroll for the class, your child needs to be over the age of 3. So the age range is between 3 to 5 years old. So we take children from the age of 3, but that's also pending on whether they are toilet trained. So the second point is that children need to be toilet trained, because we're not a childcare center. As Anisa mentioned, we do have a childcare center in another place. And I mean, the children don't have to be toilet trained there because they have the facilities to train children. So we don't have those facilities. So sometimes parents will say, well, they're in the midst of toilet training, can I send them in a pull-up? So that's also not conducive to our space and our staff. Although we can change them, we just don't have the facilities. So they need to be toilet trained. And when they are coming in, they are on a trial basis. So they come in and we see how they go in terms of settling in terms of, you know, if they are on the younger side, we do take them to the toilet and help them and wash them. We don't expect them to just go by themselves. Even in terms of eating their food and things like that, we do assist them. But the settling in is mainly got to do with their attachment to parents. So crying, if they're continuously crying for hours on end and, you know, they're very distressed. Some kids get so distressed to the point that they throw up, or, you know, they're just sobbing all day, and it distresses the other children as well. So sometimes we need to tell those families that, you know, a child needs to spend more time at home and come back when they're a little bit older, or if they're displaying any type of, you know, unacceptable behaviors, you know, like biting or, you know, hitting or doing things to hurt other children. And, you know, we obviously try to work with the parents and discuss these behaviors. And if that's not, sometimes the trial goes longer than 2 weeks, because sometimes in 2 weeks, we feel like, okay, they're getting to their 3rd week or 4th week, and, you know, they might settle. So that's just a time frame, a generic time frame, but it sometimes can go up to, you know, 5 weeks and 6 weeks. And then by then we've said, okay, they've settled or they've not settled. So we just want you to know that, so that you're made aware. You don't think, look, they've come and that's it, they've got a position and we have to keep them whether they cry or, you know, throw tantrums or, you know, are hurting other children and things like that. So Nazia, did you want to say anything about that, about the trial? You're muted, I think.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Yeah, like Sadia said, most of the time the children do settle. I think in all our history, the only times that we do have to ask children to come back is when they're really, really emotionally not ready, like they're really distraught and they're a little bit on the younger side. And usually we do advise parents to just withdraw them, spend a bit more time with them at home, and honestly just bring them back even 1 to 2 terms later, and it makes a huge difference for the children. They grow so much over 6 to 12 weeks, so please don't feel distressed or distraught if that is the case for your child. And in some instances, we might have children that do require some sort of special needs or extra attention. And again, if it's something we can work with and the parents are happy to work alongside us, we're more than happy to do it. If not, sometimes they might need to go to a childcare centre or a long day care where they do have extra facilities like sensory play, just depending on what the child needs. But as long as the parents are willing to work with us, we're more than happy to work with the children.
Inshallah. Just to move on to the next, so our program. So a lot of people get confused. You know, they'll message me and they'll say, oh, can I get my child to attend a Monday and a Wednesday, or, you know, a Wednesday and a Friday? So the way that our program works is we have 2 streams. So there's the Tuesday, Wednesday stream. So there's a lot of students that come on those days, the same students. And then there's a different bunch of students that come on the, a group, sorry, not a bunch, you're not fruit. They'll be coming on the Thursday and Friday. So that group of students will come Thursday, Friday. And then we have, so you either have to enroll in the Tuesday or Wednesday stream or Thursday, Friday. As one of the days, they'll be doing, like, let's say the Tuesday, they'll be doing all the Arabic, Quran and Islamic studies. And then on the Wednesday, they'll be doing their English and maths component that they need to learn. And I'll talk more about what goes on, what type of things and activities they do in that program. But just in terms of the days, those are the days that are allocated for our program. And so we'll go on to what do we teach? So We teach, we do have, like I said, we're an Islamic-based cultural sort of center. And so a lot of our activities and things that we teach go back to the Islamic roots. We do have a school readiness stream, which are the older children that are getting ready to go off to school the following year. And they will be learning everything that they need to know to go off to school through a lot of hands-on activities. So they'll be learning their numbers, their colors, their shapes, name writing, positions, pattern. They will also do units of work. So throughout the year, they do different units of work. So we might have
we have themes throughout the year as well that we focus on.
Yes.
So sometimes it might be space, sometimes it might be farm animals, and it's different for the 3-year-olds and the 4-year-olds.
Yeah, so we also have not just themes, we'll also do different fun days. So we'll have a P for pajama day where they'll be having pizza and popcorn and making popcorn. They'll have a mini athletics. They'll have dental week. There's also book week when they get to dress up as a character. This year we told a lot of parents that we had a lot of the outfits to make it easier for parents. They'll have Earth Week, occupations where they're learning about different occupations. They also go through NIDOC week as well. So they learn about Aboriginal art and how the land goes back to the Aboriginals and things like that. So they do incorporate all of that, and they do a lot of that through outdoor activities. One of our teachers, Miss Sana, will do a lot of science experiments. So she does a lot of STEM work with the children as well, so that they're doing one of the STEM work activities was that they built a water system with pipe blocks. And so when she does those activities, the children are learning through real life experiences. So that's for the school readiness stream. So the school readiness stream, so even though they're doing hands-on activities, we'll still get them to back that up with a worksheet at the end. So let's say they're learning how to write their name, but they're using a sandboard, or they're using Play-Doh, or they're using chalk. We'll still have a sheet at the end or a board where they'll have to learn how to write their name. So it's not just all outdoor and fun activities or just all play. There is some pen to paper work, but that's not the main focus. And they'll also be doing a lot of craft, a lot of the activities, especially a lot of the Arabic activities. So when they're doing Arabic, they're learning the letters, Arabic letters, numbers, shapes, the Arabic sounds. And a lot of that is backed up with craft activities. So it might be an Arabic animal, and then they're making, a mask. A lion's mask because they've learned about lion that week or something like that. And our Arabic and Quran and Islamic studies teacher, Miss Mariam, she has a lot of fun days for the children throughout the year, depending on what's going on at that time of the year. So if it's Hajj season, that she will organize, we'll be organizing a Hajj day where they're going and experiencing Hajj physically. Like there, we have the tents for Mina set up, we have the Kaaba set up, they have Zamzam water to drink, they have their Hajj passports. The kids are all very excited on the day. They get to dress up. Sometimes we get them a jumping castle at the end of the day for fun, because it's a Hajj day, and then towards the end of that they'll have an Eid party. When Ramadan is coming up, they're learning acts of Sunnah, so there'll be a Sunnah day. They'll be learning about manners. They'll do stories of the prophets and du'as that they're supposed to know as well. So there's a lot of activities going on for the children, and the younger children, which we call the mentoring stream. They'll also be participating in those activities, but the activities that they are participating in are, let's say we're doing advanced alphabets for the children that are older children. The younger children will maybe start just doing beginning sounds and doing a lot more hands-on play to learn things that they need for the following year. So Miss Nazia can maybe give you a big example of some of those activities for the younger children.
Yeah, so for the younger children, most of the time they do also do worksheets, but we do try to take them out a lot more often to do talk outside. We have a lot of different activities outside that we set up for them. We've got a lot of fine motor skills, beading, all different things. So whatever we can incorporate with the activity that day. But just with the younger children, we do definitely try to get them to do a little bit more hands-on. They're can't always sit as long and can't focus as much sometimes as the older kids. So we do definitely try to separate the streams and give them their own individual time and activities.
inshaAllah. So that's basically the program that we have. We also have another stream. It's called the Monday Additional Day. So some people have asked about that, and some people have actually tried to enroll their 3-year-olds for the Monday Additional Day. So the Monday Additional Day, so you like I said before, you have to choose either the Tuesday, Wednesday, or the Thursday, Friday. They're compulsory. You can't just come for one day. And then if you'd like to take on a third day, the third day would have to be the Monday, but that's only for those students that are going off to school the following year. So that's only for the school readiness children. It's an additional day, and on the Monday stream, it's a smaller class. They do focus a lot more on school readiness activities, and they also get to do additional activities that they might not be able to do on the other days because it's a bigger class. So the examples are they get to do more gardening, they do cooking. So in Farm Week, they got to make their own butter and cookies for Farm Week, and they have grown their own carrots and garlic. So they've got a little mini garden going on as well. They just do more work on the du'as and surahs as well on a Monday for those children. So we find that the Monday is really beneficial for those children that the ones that are going off to school that need maybe a little bit of a push, you know, and it's not something that if you feel like, you know, through the middle of the year your child is ready and you want to reduce their days, there's no problem in terms of reducing or adding the Monday throughout the year, pending on positions. But it's not a compulsory day, like I said, but it's just something extra for the children that are going off to school. And
Sorry,
Ihsan,
sorry. I was just going to say also with the Monday stream, towards the end of the year, we do start to work on addition. We also start to work on sight words with the children. And because it's all the school readiness children, we also do things like library. So that we make library bags for them so they can practice borrowing from the library and returning books. We also set up a canteen and have a canteen day so they can get used to recognizing money and how to use it, but also that experience of school. And the kids honestly really enjoy it because it's all sort of children their age and they're all excited and ready to go off to school. And obviously on the Monday stream, we talk so much more about school to really prepare them like mentally for that experience, inshallah.
inshallah. So okay, so we'll just move on to fees and payments. And like we said, if you do have any other questions about the program, you are free to ask. You can message the phone privately if you want to, or after this we'll have a little bit of a Q&A. So in terms of fees and payments, we are quite flexible in terms of how to pay, but most terms will coincide with the school calendar and therefore will be 10 weeks. So we do take breaks in the holidays. Sometimes parents get confused and turn up with their child when we're on holidays and they forget because childcare centres, you know, are open year round and they only take time off at the end of the year, but we do close when schools close. So basically all payments, it says here, all payments must be finalized within the first 2 weeks of every term. That's if you are able to. And if you aren't able to pay it in the first 2 weeks of the term, then you would need to email us or speak to us and we can offer you a payment plan where you can pay week to week, you can pay fortnightly, you can split it into 2 payments. So we do like to help families that way. We don't expect upfront payment if you can't pay, because some people's jobs don't allow it that way. But if you haven't notified us that you want split payment or anything like that, and you just pay it late because you just can't be bothered or something, then there is a late fee because we have to obviously pay our accountant to chase up people and say, look, what's happening with your fees? It's week 8. It's happened that the whole term has gone past and a person hasn't paid anything. And, we have to chase them up at the end of the term. So it says at the bottom as well, we also offer split payments and cash payments. We don't have any FPOS facilities at the moment. So we do have, direct transfer into the account or cash in an envelope with your, child's name and the amount, which we then issue you with a receipt and we let the accountant know that you've paid that amount. I think that's pretty straightforward. Did you want me to move on to the next one? Okay, so we do have a registration fee. So it's $60 registration fee to be paid before commencing the term. And this is just to hold your child's position. There's also a $35 resource fee every term per child. And that means that we will provide all their pens. You don't need to send a pencil case with, crayons or anything. So all the resources, everything we use for art, all our photocopying, Play-Doh, anything that they're using, we'll be providing that to them. You don't need to send anything apart from their bag and things like that, which we'll talk about later. And for all of our new students that are starting with us, we do require a 1-week bond. So that'll be a payment which you'll get an invoice in the next couple of weeks. And once your child starts in that first week, that'll be credited to your fees, inshallah. We don't wait until your child leaves the center and then refund it to you like other places. It's just a way of holding on to your position as well, until the first week when we start. So because we've had instances in the past where people, hold on to the position and wait till the day that we're starting and say, no, sorry, I've changed my mind, or I'm moving overseas. And there are so many people that are just waiting, and it's not fair to those families, people that are waitlisted, if you haven't made up your mind. And just talking about making up your mind as well, if you do have a definite position and you decide, after the meet and greet or in the next, couple of weeks that, no, you've changed your mind or things like that, you don't have to feel guilty that, look, I've got a definite position and now I can't, tell them. It's completely okay. If you've changed your mind or you're moving interstate or something has happened, just let us know. And then, we can remove you off the list and we can offer that to somebody else sooner rather than later. So we don't charge for public holidays or holidays taken for Eid. So that's just a courtesy from us towards our families, because we do take those holidays for Eid as well. We'll notify families beforehand that, these days will be off in the term, and these are unpaid as well. So all the pricing that I have quoted so far, that's pricing quoted without GST. So you would have to add GST. So when I say $60 enrollment fee, it's $66 with GST on top. So when you go on the website, I think it says that as well. So when you get your invoices, it'll have all the amounts, the enrollment fee, the resource fee, and then the GST will be added to the bottom of your invoice, inshallah. This is a really important point because we have a lot of parents throughout the year continuously messaging us about this. My child's not going to be there for the next 2 weeks because we're going away. Do I need to pay? So if your child is absent for any week, for any reason, including an overseas trip, there will not be a refund or make-up days. So we have in the past tried to help out families where if your child is sick and has been in hospital for 2 weeks, and you've got a medical certificate or something, and then we try to help those families by doing make-up days. But in general, we don't have a make-up day policy. So if you missed one day, or and you just next week you start messaging and saying, oh, I missed last week Tuesday, can I come in? We're actually full every day. And we have teacher to staff ratios. So it's very hard to add on a child when they're away, and we actually can't refund you for that day too, because we have a set number of kids per day, set number of teachers, and we can't fill your child's position for that 1 or 2 days that they're away and offer that to someone else. If you are traveling overseas, I always give the parents the option of withdrawing their child. I had a lady last term who was overseas for 5 weeks. And she said, do I have to pay for those 5 weeks? And I said, you don't have to if you withdraw him, and I'll fill his position. And then when he comes back, if there's a position, he can rejoin us. And she didn't want that scenario. She said, no, because then I want him to come back the week that we return. And I said, then those 5 weeks need to be paid for, because I'm basically holding on to that position for you. So in the same way, if you wanted to withdraw your child, you just need to provide us with 2 weeks written notice. So in an email or in a text message, I'm planning on withdrawing my child in the next, 2 weeks, and you need to pay for your child up until the end of those 2. Just that gives us that time to, finalize everything with your child, anything that they need to take, and, see if there's anybody else wishing to fill that position, should you wish to leave. Nazia or Nisa, did you want to comment anything on the absences or the withdrawing?
No, yeah, that's the main reason why it's hard to offer a makeup day. Most of the time, parents don't notify us until the morning once class has started that the child's not attending. So it's just not practical, I mean, for us to be able to tell you by 9:30 that there is a position, especially because our program does start by 9 a.m. and anyone entering the premises after that is just becomes a bit disruptive for the children.
Yeah, we are going to talk about the timing that is coming up. First, before we do that, we are privately run, so we're not subsidized by Centrelink. So some parents do ask us, are you subsidized by Centrelink? Can I, get a subsidy? And I would say no. So all our fees are private fees. And we also do not offer any pickup or drop-off service. So if you need somebody to pick and drop your child, you have to find your own carer or somebody else that can, help you out. But we ourselves don't have any people that we know or we could recommend. Just so that's clear. So timing. So drop-off time. So we have drop-off time starting from 8:30. So between 8:30 and 9 a.m. Children can be dropped off, and there will be 2 teachers out the front or 1 teacher out the front to help you, to assist you, to make sure you're parking on the street properly. And if your child, once they're used to us, they're usually happy to walk in with us, and if you've got a baby in the car or other children, and you can sort of just park on the street and pass your child over. And if you wish to walk them in, you're welcome to walk them in as well, especially in the beginning when they're new and they want their parent to come in with them. That's not a problem at all. Between 8:30 and 9, they're usually playing outdoors or they're doing free playtime indoors. Class starts at 9 a.m. And we finish at 1:30 p.m. So it says a late pickup of children after 2:30 p.m. will incur a fee of $10 every 15 minutes. And that's because our staff actually finish their shifts at 2:30 p.m. and they also have their own children to get to and pick up from places as well. So we have had instances where parents have forgotten about their children, or they've had a mix up with the other parent who was supposed to be picking up their child. And sometimes it's happened that they've come at 3:30. I think one time it happened, the latest was 4 p.m. A staff member was there. So, we obviously have to pay our staff for overtime as well. So that's why that fee is in place as well too. So if you are coming late, so please ensure that you collect your child promptly, as supervision will be limited. There'll only be 1 teacher usually staying behind. Everyone else will go, and 1 teacher will be waiting around for that, late child. And that's why we do have that pickup between 1:30 and 2:30 p.m. We're giving you a 1-hour window. Our teaching time finishes at 1:30 p.m. And you might have received the message that I had sent out before, where we were going to try and finish, we were going to do pickup between 1:30 and 2. And a lot of parents were like, it's so hard and I've got work and my mother is coming to pick them up. So I feel like we have tried to be very generous with the pickup time. So 1:30 to 2:30. Some children are exhausted. They need to go home by 1:30. Other children enjoy playing outside. They won't be doing any work at that time. They'll just be doing outdoor activities. But that just gives you that window, 1-hour window to come where, not all the parents are coming at once, and you should be able to find parking on the street and be able to walk up. And there will be a teacher out the front as well during that time, or if not, you can go to the front door and you can ring the doorbell. Did you guys want to add anything to that?
I think that's pretty straightforward.
Okay, so with the timing and dropping off and picking up, please be very careful with bringing cars into the driveway. So there are 2 driveways. One driveway is our driveway for the premises where our teachers park. Now, if you block that driveway, what's happened in the past years, the teachers have actually hit their cars onto the side and damaged their cars because they're trying to get in, because but parents have blocked off half the driveway and they've hit the side of their car or something like that. And then there's also another driveway nearby where we walk down the kids, and that's where Miss Anissa's house is right behind. She lives on the premises behind. And if you come up that driveway, it's quite dangerous because the children are actually walking there to access the back of the premises. So there's absolutely no parking on that driveway or in any driveway. There's plenty of parking on the street. And like I said, one of the teachers or 2 of the teachers will be out there to assist you if you've got to leave a baby in the car. We've sometimes even stood with the babies at the car while the parent has walked the child in, just to make sure that, just to give you that little bit of extra time, and so you don't have to bring your car up the driveway. Now, the reason we did this, you know about the incident that had happened at Banksia Road, where, you know, the mother had brought her car in. I mean, that was a bit of a freak accident, but it plowed into the classroom. So we've had incidences, you know, as well, where, you know, children are going back into the playground, they're walking in, but they want to run back to their parent to say something. And if you've suddenly brought your car in and that child's running back, they could get run over as well. So we try to be very vigilant about people. So if someone, and if you're sending someone else, whether it's your husband, your parent, or someone, you obviously need to notify us that someone else is coming to pick up your child, and you need to notify them where to park as well, and let them know that they should not be parking on the driveway, inshallah. So we've talked about this as well, about dropping off your child later than 9 a.m. So instead of suspending your child, I know it says here that if you have dropped off your child later than 9 a.m. or picked them up later than 2:30 p.m. 3 times consecutively, we will suspend your child from our center for 1 week. So that's not what we actually did this year. So what we did this year was that if you were continuously coming late after 2:30, we told the parents that you now have to be there right on 1:30. You don't get that complimentary time anymore from 1:30 to 2:30. So you can't come later at 2. So we had to actually shorten their time, and they had to be, because they were continuously late. Like they were always like maybe 2:40 they would come, or 2:45, and it was happening every week. And then with the 9 a.m. drop off, if parents who are coming after 9 without any genuine reason, obviously there's some people that, you know, because they've got children at multiple schools and they're coming out of area from really far away, and if they have to, they usually notify us. This year was maybe 2 or 3 families, but coming after 9 a.m. really disrupts the children and the teachers. So we've already started class, parents are walking their kids in, children are trying to settle, drinking maybe water, or someone needs to go to the toilet because they've just walked in. It disrupts that whole morning lesson, and children are more alert in the morning from 9 to 10 a.m. That's when they get their best learning done. So we actually said this year that if you can't bring your child by 9 a.m. and they can't be there by 9, then please don't come. Or if you're running late, then don't come until recess time, which is at 10 a.m. So that way you're not disrupting anyone. So we've actually had sometimes parents that were waiting in the car because they came at 9:30, but they just waited till 10 because they didn't want to disrupt the class. So it's really imperative that your child comes. We're not a long daycare center where you can come at 11 a.m. and, you know, pick them up at 4 p.m. We are a pre-kindy type of environment where there's learning going on throughout the day. We have recess and lunch, we have fitness, and we also have a strict start time and strict finishing time. There's no nap time. The children don't nap. So it's really important that, you know, you stick with the timing. Nazia and Anissa, did you want to say anything with the timing?
Yeah, sorry, just in regards to dropping off late, another reason it's really important to be there by 9 a.m. or earlier is, especially in the start, you know, there'll always be 5 to 6 children that are quite emotional, you know, until they settle. So we use that time between 8:30 to 9 to settle all the children and, you know, calm down the tears and start a fun activity. It's really hard if somebody walks in after 9 and they have a child that's going to be upset and crying. And as you can imagine, it's just a whole domino effect. So if we can just sort of work with all the children at the one time, it just makes our day much smoother, and also makes the day a lot easier emotionally for the children, especially when they're seeing other parents come in and they've just kind of separated from their own mom. It just sets them off again. So if you could please just be vigilant by, you know, trying to get them there between 8:30 to 9. And also the children that do get a little bit nervous or, you know, feel a bit anxious or scared in the morning, it's an excellent idea to bring them there at 8:30, because they do have that time of free play outside, rather than walking in late when everybody's sort of sitting and the class has started. And a lot of the children don't like that. They like that time to just sort of warm up and follow their peers and, you know, do everything together with the children, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Just one more thing, sorry, for the parents. We've had in previous years where a child will consistently arrive maybe at 9:15, 9:20, and then all of a sudden, you know, the term's over, or the one term's over, and parents are really concerned that their child doesn't know the masnoon, you know, little du'as like when it rains or before you go to the toilet, or they don't know the days of the week or the months of the year, which is something that we do consistently on a daily basis in the first sort of half-hour session. And we have to sort of pinpoint and remind them the reason why their child's not aware of that is because they're consistently missing out on that period of that 15-20 minute session also. So just with that timing, that's another thing where kids miss out on.
Sorry, Annie, so I accidentally moved the slide when you were talking still
That's
about
okay,
timing.
that's fine, yeah.
So that's all really important. The timing is really important. And I know we're all mums and we're all busy and things like that, but it's really, really important that they don't miss that morning session. If you've committed to enrolling your child at al-Ihsan, you need to know that it's really important to get them there on time. So what do I need to send? So it says, please ensure that your child attends class equipped with a change of clothes if needed. Sometimes parents say, oh, no, my child's toilet trained. They don't need anything. And they'll come and they'll just be nervous and maybe they'll wet themselves, or they'll spill something on their clothes, or they went down the slide or something and it was wet. So we always need a change of clothes for children. I did say, we don't change nappies or pull-ups, but we do change clothes if needed. So please provide that for the children. Provide them
Please
with
just add a pair of socks in there too, because most of the time when children wet themselves, you can imagine it goes all down their pants and they'll always end up with wet socks and a lot of the time wet shoes. So we have to sort of, wash their shoes and let them dry out for the day, or notify the parent to bring a pair of shoes for them when they come in the afternoon. So yeah, inshallah, please add a pair of socks in there as well for the children.
Yeah, socks. And even on cold days, we find sometimes children have come, they don't have a jacket and we have to give them a spare jacket. So just make sure that if you're not dressing them that warm, they have something warm in their bag as well. We will be, like I said before, we will provide all the stationery to the children. They don't need a pencil case. You don't need to send them with folders or anything like that. All of their belongings should be labeled with their name, even if it's just a textar or a marker. They should have their name on it, because children are continuously losing items. So if it has their name, it's so much easier to find and say, okay, Bilal, here's your water bottle, or here's your jacket, or here's your hat. So if they lose something and it's not labeled, then we are not liable for the loss. We're not going to be able to search everywhere to find your child's bottle if it's not labeled with their name, because we won't even know where to start looking. So we do have a lost property and we do place it outside every day for the parents to check for lost items, and it stays quite full to the end of the year. So sometimes they're not claimed. So that's the what do I need to send. Oh, you also need to send your child with adequate food for recess. And this must include healthy options such as fruit or vegetables. A water bottle with the child's name is also to be sent. So all children need to have a water bottle. We also have a nut-free policy, as we have students with allergies. So you're not allowed to send in anything with nuts and anything with egg in it as well. So a whole egg or things like that. And, Nutella contains nuts as well. So nothing, no Nutella, no, just peanuts or things just to snack on. And please check the ingredients of the lunch items before packing. We try to minimize junk, like things like up and go, or just, chocolates, cupcakes and things like that. I mean, every now and then, for a treat for a child, I mean, we do days for the kids where we have those types of things for them. But a lot of the time, just for recess, it's a little piece of fruit or a vegetable that they like to eat, cucumber or things like that, and something easy for them to eat for lunch, even if it's just a sandwich, inshallah. Nazia, did you want to mention anything about the lunch?
Yeah, just in regards to lunch, I know children can be very fussy and some parents do worry, but if your child does prefer hot food or home cooked food, please, you're more than welcome to send, leftover rice from the night before, pasta, whatever they like. You can just send them in those, warm it up in the morning and send it in those little thermoses. Unfortunately, we can't heat up food there. So a lot of children do bring in sausage rolls and things like that in the little thermos. And most children can eat quite independently. And we are more than happy. We do actually help some of the younger children and spoon feed them. We do want our children to eat well. And we know mums are always happy when, your child comes home and their lunchbox is all been eaten. So please feel free, if your child prefers food like that, you're more than welcome to send it, as long as it's warmed up and sent in a little thermos for them. And we're happy to help them, open it and even feed them if they need some assistance.
Inshallah. So sometimes parents want to know, like, how do I see the activities that the children are doing or what's happening? So at the beginning of every term, we do send an outline of the program. We also send a sort of a calendar of events that, these are the things that are going to go on this term. We're having Hajj Day, or we're having an incursion. We've got Healthy Herald coming, anything that's happening through the term so that parents know in advance. But we do have an app called Class Dojo, which when you join, your child joins the center, within the first 2 weeks, you will get a link to join Class Dojo, and the teachers will be uploading the activities week to week, where you can see the pictures of your children. If you do not want the pictures to be on Class Dojo, you just need to let us know. We did used to upload pictures occasionally to social media. This year, we've pretty much kept off social media in terms of pictures of children's faces, because a lot of parents don't like to share their pictures of their children on social media. So if we have shared pictures of social media, we've tried to make it shots, you know, from behind, or where you really can't see the face of the child. If you don't like your child's picture to be taken, please do let us know. We do have some on the form where people have said, no, please do not take any photo, but they do want their pictures on Class Dojo. So Class Dojo, only parents that have children enrolled in our center, they will be the only people looking at those pictures. They won't be shared with anybody else. So in terms of sicknesses, if your child has a major sickness like chickenpox, a whooping cough, or head lice, then the staff reserves the right to call you to advise you to pick up your child from the center, and your child should not return until they are treated. So usually with head lice, you know, if you just, you know, you get a comb and a solution, it takes maybe a week of continuous combing, and once you can see that their head is clear, you know, you're welcome to bring them back. But that's in terms of for sicknesses or major sicknesses. So we are a COVID safe center. If you're wondering about COVID, we have a regular deep cleaning of the center done, you know, just to make sure it's all sanitized. The staff at our center are vaccinated. We make sure that they're all vaccinated. But look, if your child does have any COVID-like symptoms, you feel like they've got, you know, a cough, a runny nose, they've got especially a fever. We've got children sometimes, you know, they come in with a fever and we just have to send them home within the first 5 to 10 minutes. Please refrain from sending them in, because it just spreads like wildfire, like with the young children, because young children are not very sanitary, as you know. They touch everything, they touch their face, they touch other children. So it's actually better to keep them home if you do feel like they have those symptoms, or they're coming down with something, or they've got a horrible cough that, you know, that they can pass on to someone. Did you guys want to say anything about that, the sicknesses?
No, just
No.
accept. Yeah, we don't administer Panadol and medication. Obviously, if it's a puffer or something like that, that's different. So yes, please do try to keep your children home if they are unwell. And also, it's not like a childcare centre where they'll be napping in the day, or where we have, you know, the extra space or facilities to let them rest. So inshallah, if you feel like they're a little bit under the weather, it's always safer to keep them home.
Also, sorry, just with if any child's got you know, asthma, if you can fill out from your GP, you can get a asthma action plan and provide us with their Ventolin and their spacer, and then the teachers will follow through with that with the issue with asthma.
That's the same also if someone has allergies, you can send us with that allergy form as well, so we know exactly what they're allergic to. We have on, and in previous times as well, kept an EpiPen on site. We had a girl who was anaphylactic to nuts, and so our staff are all trained in first aid and CPR and things like that. So we do have the experience, but if you have the form, that's even better for us, because when we display that on our board, our medical board, so we can see these are the children and these are the allergies that they have. So as you know, today is the orientation, meaning the information and orientation, but the meet and greet, what we call the meet and greet, will be tomorrow. So the meet and greet is between 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. tomorrow, and that is at the premises at 24 Como Road, Greenacre. Everybody has already registered. If you haven't registered, the registration is now closed. Most of the time slots have been taken. So it is a 15-minute time slot. It's not an information session, because this is the information session. And like I said, you're free to ask questions after this or message the admin phone. It's more of a session where you come in, you get to see the center, you get to, you know, meet the staff, meet the teachers, see the playground, and just see if your child is comfortable being there. So that'll be tomorrow, inshaAllah. Miss Nazia will be there, Miss Anissa will be there, and maybe another one of our teachers, Miss Sana, you'll get to meet as well, who's also our cousin. She's very creative. You'll get to meet her tomorrow as well. So that's for tomorrow. What I have on the screen is, if you're not sure of your timing, I did message everybody individually their timing. But just if you're not sure and you're online now, you can have a look to see what time slot you have chosen. So with the time slots, we say 15 minutes, and please only bring the child that is actually starting with us. It's a big distraction when other children, we've had in previous years where, you know, people have brought their high schoolers and their I don't know, different age children who are running around disrupting everyone, you know, and it's really hard to sort of talk to parents and that when they're trying to discipline other children. So just both parents, if both parents want to come, or if it's a grandma and a mother, 2 people, family members, and the child that's starting with us, inshaAllah. And Ihsan, Azia, did you have anything to add before I finish up?
No, inshallah, like we look forward to meeting all the parents tomorrow. It's always a lot easier when we meet people face to face. And, you know, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask us tomorrow, like Sadia said, we're more than happy to answer it there, but just bear in mind it is a 15-minute time slot, but there will be, you know, other teachers available there to help you out, inshallah.
Yeah, and if you don't want to ask a question, obviously now on a Zoom session, that's fine. You can tomorrow, if you are coming, speak to us face to face. Like I said, you're more than welcome to message the phone if you need a long conversation, and I will make time to call you and speak to you about any issues that you have. Otherwise, I mean, this is actually the end of our session. So if anyone does have any questions. Yes, that is the end. I was just making sure with the next slide that I didn't have anything else on there. But if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask, or if it's something that you don't want to ask on here, like I said, you can message privately on the phone. You can ask to have a chat on the phone. You can email. You can come in tomorrow to the meet and greet and you know, talk to us directly. We're really looking forward to tomorrow. We've had a lot of preparation this week, getting ready for tomorrow, and inshallah. Yeah. I think someone has asked a question.
Just while you're reading the question, Sadia, while you're reading the question, just a few little pointers, just to prepare you mentally before 2023 begins. A lot of parents, especially if it's their child's first sort of year in schooling, and they're going to be sitting a private school examination. Some of you may be aware, some of you may not be aware. Some of the schools testing, depending on what school your child's going to be going to, starts from the period of end of April and all the way till, like, you know, July. If you're lucky, you'll get an August time slot. And you've got to bear in mind that the first 6 to 8 weeks is actually socially and emotionally settling the child down, which means that you need to be looking on the class dojo to see what activities that we've been doing. I can't stress that enough. Because if you can reinforce just through a simple discussion with your children in terms of what they had done that particular day, if it's reinforced and discussed the same day, a child will statistically retain 95% of that information. And I'm telling you from experience, I've got 3 children who have all finished schooling, and my younger 2 were homeschooled. They were. And even through the homeschooling process, I did exactly the same thing. Obviously to help them academically to get through. The second thing is sometimes I know a lot of other pre-kindies, because it's and schools, it's systematic and it's a lot easier. They have a set program and every child is expected to go through that program in whichever way they deliver it. We do have an eclectic approach, because you will know that some kids are visual learners, some are auditory learners, you know, some are kinesthetic. So we like to, even though we have the themed units, we like to implement them after we get to know the kids for the first 6 to 8 weeks. We sort of think, okay, these group of, say, 3-year-olds, they're sort of very visual they are. And so we'll tweak the lessons and implement strategies where the kids can grasp those concepts according to their learning style. That's one of the things that makes us differ, I guess, from, you know, one of the aspects from other pre-kindies. So they were 2 really important points that I wanted to mention. And the reason why we do take that eclectic approach also is that we don't want to drag kids through a system that's not them at the end of the day, and condition them, because that's what, you know, some schooling systems do to our children, unfortunately. And what happens is when you drag them through a system that's not them or their style of learning, your children actually lose the, you know, from 3 to 5, kids' creativity is 95%. And I'm not going to go through all the stats today. You guys can ask me tomorrow. And as they grow older, it reduces because of that conditioning. So we steer away from that, which is why we always offer, you know, that. And if anybody always has questions about schooling and options, Sadia, Nazia, myself, Nazia also homeschools all 4 of her children. I didn't homeschool my oldest. He went through schooling because he was fine for that, but my younger 2 I did. But we're here to support you guys, even externally, with choices and decisions, you know, for your children's schooling, inshallah. So I just wanted to add that on.
Okay, there's another question. Okay. What is the main difference between Grow With Me and Dar al-Ihsan? So the main.
Do you want me to go through that? Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's fine. The main. So Dar al-Ihsan obviously is a private tutoring, I guess, cultural and tuition center. It's a lot more structured, where all of the kids are going through and doing things or their activities together collectively. So sometimes you'll get some kids that have this, they really love that structure, highly organized, and that sense of belonging, because we're all doing Quran at the same time and we all transition off and do the next activity together. We also don't have nap time, whereas at Grow With Me, which is centrally subsidized and a government-based center, we have to go through, and the whole curriculum and program is based on the EYLF, which is the Early Years Learning Framework. So kids, it's the longer hours from 7:30 to 5. Kids do have to, according to policies and procedures, have nap time. And it's really, really all about, at the end of the day, child's agency. So if your child doesn't want to sit there and do name tracing, even though we do spend 45 minutes in the morning doing pre-kindy work and prepping kids there, but if your child doesn't want to do that and they just want to go off and play outside or do something, you know, different, we pretty much have to allow them to do that because it falls under government regulations. It does. It's not a private centre. The other thing also is your child must be vaccinated to be enrolled in a long day care centre, where we do have some families that aren't. They're sort of anti-vaxxers and don't want to vaccinate their children, which we respect. And in that situation, which is why we've got the private set, like, yes, Dar al-Ihsan operating also. Now, even though we do pre-kindy work at Grow With Me and the long day care centre, it's a lot more intense at Dar al-Ihsan. So it's a lot more intense over here. We're over there, in terms of the amount of pre-kindy prep that's done, is slightly less than Dar al-Ihsan at the end of the day. So it really depends on your child. Now, we do have families that sometimes send their kids, obviously, the 2-day stream here and 1 or 2 days over there. And children will go, you know, there's some kids that go, I love Dar al-Ihsan, they love that sort of structure and routine. Whereas other kids go, no, we like sort of a lot more that free play in between. It's all about the child's agency at the end of the day, and they preferred Grow With Me. So it really comes back, like I said, even with our own children, in terms of sending them to school, homeschooling, what fits your child's temperament, their personality, and their learning style at the end of the day. But if you're really specific about preparing them for pre-kindy, even though we've got 100% success rate at Grow With Me also, we are an exceeding centre, and we are the only exceeding centre in our area, that's, and also Islamic run. So we still do Quran and all of that, but like I said, it's the longer hours over there, and then by law we do have to give them rest time so they sleep. So throughout the day, from about 12 till about 1:32, that time slot is taken out just in giving kids, you know, sleep, nappy changing, toileting. There's a lot of time that's consumed, whereas over here all the children have to be toilet trained, and the age of the children over there also is 2 to 6 year olds, whereas over here it's 3 to 5. So there's sort of the major differences.
Yeah, so like Anissa was saying, that some kids they need that structure, and they love coming to Dar al-Ihsan because it's everybody's going off and doing the same together. Now everyone's going to recess, and now we're all going to do fitness, and now all of this. So, and the day is shorter. So like we said, it's 9 to 2:30. It's a shorter day. One of the reasons we started Grow With Me as well is that we had a lot of working parents, and they needed the longer hours. Some parents, working parents, do want a pre-kindy environment, do want to send their kids to Dar al-Ihsan, but they can't do the drop and pick up times. and we obviously can't extend our times as well, because with pre-kindy, they're not having naps, they get tired. We can't be teaching them from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're sitting and doing work and outdoor work. It's quite exhausting. So some parents try their children out in both places, and kids are happy to go to both places. Some kids only like one place. So like Anissa said, it comes back to your child. But just letting you know that if you are thinking of enrolling your child at Grow With Me, there's a 3-year wait list. So a lot of people think like that happened last year as well. They're like, oh, my child's not settling here at Dar al-Ihsan, maybe childcare is better. Can I just put them at Grow With Me? Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. We can't just switch families over. We have all families, even at Dar al-Ihsan, like you're online now, we have all families already enrolled for next year. Like even if someone were to come from Grow With Me now and say, can I enroll in Dar al-Ihsan? I have to say no to them, because we're full for next year. So we can't just chop and change in just because we manage both centers. But that is the main difference. One is, government subsidized, one is not, one is longer hours, one is shorter hours. And like Anissa said, different programs, both Islamic based, one more intense, one more, based on the child's needs and what they want to do, inshallah. Are there any other questions? I hope that answered your question.
One of the sisters, sorry, I think was asking, okay, maybe you can message her privately that she's currently overseas.
Yeah, I've messaged her already.
That's fine. We can organize a personalized meeting for it, inshallah. That's not a problem.
Inshallah.
Any other questions? Well, we're super excited to meet everybody tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah, so we'll inshallah see everybody tomorrow. If there's any changes or you're running late or you can't find the place, I'll have the phone with me. Please message the phone or call the phone, and I will take the call, inshallah. And bring your child in, and if there's anything that we didn't cover here and you wanted to ask us privately, we're more than happy to answer you. But inshallah we'll finish up now. I know it's getting close to 9. Sorry, there's one more question. How many are unvaccinated? Not many. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of the parents. Most parents have vaccinated their kids. These days, you can't get Centrelink benefits, even if you're not sending your child to childcare, but you're doing before and after school care, or you're doing family daycare, you're having someone pick and drop your child. And now, especially with COVID out there, a lot of people that were non-vaccinators, myself included, have all my kids vaccinated now, and COVID vaccinated.
I'd say 99% of our 99.95%.
I think this year we only have one child.
I think there was just one child now. Yeah, in the past it used to be more before Centrelink made all these rules that everyone, and now schools, there's a lot of schools that don't, primary schools that don't accept children that are unvaccinated. So I think people are sort of being forced to do it. We obviously we didn't open the center because we're like, hey, we just accept all unvaccinated kids, come to us. But that was something we respected of those families at that time when we started 10 years ago. But like Anissa and Nazia saying, it's much less common now. Can we organize a time to visit the center if we have not registered for tomorrow? Did you want to register for tomorrow? I can add you manually if you are able to come tomorrow. Tomorrow is the best day to come because we have the place set up, and we have, I did have a few people message today and said, look, I forgot to register and the link is closed. So I have manually added them onto time slots. I do have another 3 time slots. So if you want to come in tomorrow, please message me on the phone and let me know. Look, I do want to come in tomorrow, and I'll allocate you a time slot manually. If you do come in at another time, we generally don't like parents or people outsiders to come onto the premises when we're teaching in the day and the children are getting disrupted. If worst comes to worst and we do then say, okay, like that sister had messaged before saying she's overseas, so it's out of her control, that we will show her the center, and she can come and sort of have a meet and greet at recess time. But we might be a little bit busy with the other kids, whereas tomorrow there's no kids that we're teaching, and we can focus more time and attention to showing you around and tending to you, inshallah. Are there any other questions? Okay, so we'll finish up, inshallah. And like I said, you can message the phone, and you can register for tomorrow if you want. I'll give you a time slot. I do have a few time slots left, but inshallah, we're looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. And jazakallah khair for logging on and listening to this orientation information session. Assalamu alaikum.